Did you know that you can use AI, to save a ton of time in your Etsy business? I want to give you some ways to use AI to save time, but I also want to warn you of what not to use it for in this podcast today. Let's go. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. Glad to be back with you guys as usual, talking about everything Etsy, handmade, e-commerce, all the stuff to help your business grow. I am your host, LL, and I have another really good episode for you today. It is referring to some AI stuff. I know it's been everywhere. It's been saturated, inundated, all the new AI tools and tricks and tactics and all the crap out there. You got to wade through it and see, is this relevant to me? Can I use any of this? Should I just use none of it? Is it going away? Is it just a trend? Yada, yada, yada. I'm here to tell you that AI is not going to go anywhere. It's only going to improve, and it's only going to integrate more in our business. But we can't use it as a distraction. We have to use it to benefit us and make strategic decisions when using it. And the one overwhelming thing that I think AI can help us with is saving time. Time is finite. Time is the thing that we cannot get back in this world, in this lifetime. So any bit of time I can save, whether it's using AI or any other tool out there, I'm going to jump on it and use it. But again, you have to be strategic about it, and you can't just use it to quote unquote save time, then it ends up wasting time because you're all over the place with the things that you're doing when you're using it. So I'm going to show you and talk about the things that you can use it for to save time. Before I get started, make sure to get my exclusive workshop. Goes nicely with this episode, how to generate your first $1,000 a month on Etsy in just 30 minutes a day, because we all need to save time. We don't have a lot of time. With no social media, you can do this. This is a free workshop. You can watch it instantly today. If you haven't already, get it at handmadeandbeyond.com/Etsy sales workshop. Again, I want to make sure that I'm bringing the goods to help you with your Etsy business. And part of that is my commitment to continue to bring you tons of free, actionable, relevant stuff. All right, let's dive into how you can use AI to save time in your business. There are platforms you can use. ChatGPT is the main one. There are other platforms that you can use that I've talked about before, such as Hi Ava. That's another one. I'll include links below, but I know ChatGPT is the most common one. There are free and paid versions of both, depending on your budget and how quick you want to see results. It really depends. So the things that you can use it for in your Etsy business specifically are, number one is listing descriptions. You can give it some information, good information, right? It's not, you can't be too broad, you can't be too general, or you're going to get general stuff. So the more information you give the AI platform, the better your descriptions are going to be. But this is going to save you a ton of time. You don't have to sit down and write and make sure all your descriptions are grammatically correct. And rewrite stuff. If you struggle with putting together paragraph sentences so that it flows and looks good, then I would highly suggest just using an AI platform. Give it the information and it will write the description for you in a very thorough, engaging way, which is what a lot of people struggle with. Now, you do have to proofread it. You know, usually if it writes it for you, it's going to be grammatically correct usually and not have spelling mistakes. If you're using some knockoff AI platform, maybe not. But in my experience with ChatGPT, it's grammatically correct and there's no spelling errors. See, ChatGPT talks better than I can talk. So you just have to proofread it to make sure that it's not saying anything that's not in your tone of voice or anything that's kind of weird. Sometimes it does use, I would say, too much high-level terminology or terminology that's just not your personality. So you might have to tweak some stuff. But again, if you're using ChatGPT specifically and you're using the same tab to write stuff or ask it stuff for your business, it's going to learn and it's going to continue to make improvements on what it's writing for you because it knows the other stuff that you asked it, knows the other stuff the other questions, the other feedback that you've given it. It's going to make improvements, and it's going to get better and better and write better and better stuff for you. But this is a huge time saver, not having to sit down and write descriptions. The other thing too with Etsy, your descriptions, the keywords in your descriptions play into SEO, play into search, play into how you get found, Etsy and Google. And you have to write descriptions in a way that's for humans. You can't just dump all the keywords in there. Necklace, beaded necklace, necklace gift. You can't just do a list like that. People still do that, which is surprising. And it just looks spammy. It looks like hot garbage. So don't do that. It doesn't necessarily help you to do that. You're much better off writing your description in a couple of paragraphs, talking about who the item is for, why someone should buy the item, any specs, any buying instructions. Not all that AI is going to write for you, but the main thing that it's going to write for you is, who the item is for, the description of the item, why they should buy the item, have the value statements in there, and any descriptive elements. So you can literally write your item title, be like, hey, please write an engaging, highly engaging, informative, descriptive description, redundancy, right? Highly informative, engaging description for my gold pendant diamond necklace that's elegant and whatever else, whatever title you have. And it should be able to write something extremely thorough for you that you're going to be shocked with. I guarantee it. If you haven't used these platforms before, every time I do it, it's shocking how accurate and how good this stuff is. So descriptions is number one. Number two is social media posts. This is something that I think most people struggle with. It just doesn't come naturally a lot of time. You may have a picture, you may have something that you want to share, but you don't know how to formulate the post so it's not boring and it's not mundane and it's not more than like 3 words. People, if they're not, they have to be engaged with the pictures and your descriptions that you're using on social media, emojis, different things like that. You can use AI for this. You literally say, write this post in an engaging way for Instagram. You write a couple of words about what your post is about, and boom, 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 it's going to write an entire Instagram post, an entire Facebook post, whatever it is. Whatever you need a description for as far as social media, it will absolutely write it for you. Nice thing too, specifically with ChatGPT, if you write something, you don't like it, or it's like, I could maybe do better, hit the regenerate button and boom, it's going to regenerate that response. And 9 times out of 10, I think the regenerated response is better than the first one. And then you use that one. Amazing. It's going to save you a ton of time where you're not sitting down racking your brain. And I've been, where it's like I'm brain dead for the day. I can't think. I'm writing stuff terribly. It's like I'm writing hot garbage, and I'm like, it's so general. It's not engaging. It's not specific. I'm like, please write this better for Instagram, and I'll include like 5-6 sentences about what I want. And I'm like, and it blows me away. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing post. I would have sat here for hours trying to think of something that was even close to as good as this. Copy, paste, bada boom, bada bing, done with that post. Such a big time saver for me. Again, proofread, make sure the voice is fine. Make sure it's not saying anything that's kind of out of the realm of what you want to say. Because sometimes, again, it may go overboard. It may be too descriptive, too out there as far as some of the terminology that it's using, where you don't want to use as big of words. You want to keep it more simplistic. It just depends on your audience. So that's why you have to proofread this stuff. Just make sure it's for your audience. People are going to know if it's not like from you. That's why you got to give it some information, so you're at least giving it some input. You can't just tell it to write you an Instagram post on 1 word. The more information, the more accurate, the more relevant to your audience, the more it's going to capture your voice and what you're trying to say. So that is number 2. Number 3, you can use it for message replies, whether that's inside or outside of Etsy, and emails. If you struggle to write a response, or you get a difficult message, or someone that's angry, or even someone that's nice that's asking a question, you can literally copy and paste the message into AI and say, can you please give me a response that's friendly and solves this problem or something like that. Now, if it's problem solving, you're going to have to really make sure that it's what you want to say, because there's only certain solutions that you can provide to your business depending on your business. And you can provide those solutions. You can say, please respond to this in a friendly way with these options of solutions. And then it's just going to rewrite the message in the way that you want. That's going to be more elegant and put together than something that probably you could spend a lot of time putting together. So that's number two. It can really give you at least some ideas on how to reply. I would say even more so for the difficult customers, or if you get a difficult review, difficult email, someone that's angry, someone that's upset, you want to keep it professional. You want to keep it positive. And it's hard to do when you're writing it. It's hard not to be, want to give it back to them. You know what I mean? Because you're human. You get offended. You don't want someone attacking you, especially if it's something that's not your fault. Let's face it, people are pretty ridiculous. So AI can maybe take that part of the emotion out of it and just write the appropriate response so that you're not having to do it. And it's going to save you time, save you aggravation, and hopefully make things easier for you. So that is number three. Number four is ideas with a caveat, right? There's a catch to this one. So you can use AI to come up with ideas for products, for niche ideas, topics, whatever you want ideas for. So this, immediately we jump to like, okay, what are some product ideas for printables relating to organization or something like that? You can use it for that. Or what are the top 10 ideas for this? You can also use it for social media post ideas, YouTube post ideas, email title ideas, any idea you need, as long as you give it some more information. Again, the specific, the better information. It is going to give you the better ideas. And also ask it to give you a certain number, because if you're like, I need an idea on this, it's just going to give you one idea. I like top 5, top 10 lists of ideas to see what it comes up with. And usually there's some really, really good ideas in there. The caveat I have for this is if you're using it for product ideas, AI doesn't necessarily know, since it's a language-based learning tool, especially the ChatGPT AI, it doesn't know how many sales something is getting. It doesn't know how many visits, views. So don't use it for that type of idea. So you're gonna have to take those ideas it gives you and then pop them into, another tool such as Alora, which will give you sales numbers. It'll give you favorites. It'll give you visits or views to see how much traffic those items are getting. So the AI will be good for that starting point. But then you're gonna have to do your other market research to make sure that it is a actionable idea that's getting enough traffic that's worthwhile to do. So you just don't want to. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. You just don't want to run with it. But it will absolutely do a great job in giving you product ideas, and you can really dive in deep to get different types of ideas, sub niches. It does a fantastic job with that. You just have to take those and do further research on it to make sure that it is the best idea possible with some data. I always encourage you guys to be strategic and make data-driven decisions, so you're not just throwing things at the wall, so you have the best chance of success as possible. And that's why it's important to do that extra step of research before you do extra work that doesn't benefit you. All right, those are the main things to use AI for that will benefit you so much and save you a ton of time. I know, because I've been doing it, and I'm all about saving time. Now, the things that you should not use for, this is the warning, you should not use AI for these things, is titles and tags. You should not use it for that. If you want to brainstorm titles and tag ideas, you have to use a third-party tool, a keyword tool such as Alora, to get the best title and tags based, again, on data, sales numbers, visits, favorites, preferably sales numbers is what I go by. If it has an appropriate number of sales, I'm going to use it in my title and tag. If it doesn't, I'm not going to use it, or I'm going to really analyze that niche and say, should I even be selling in this niche because it's not getting any sales? Titles and tags, it will give you stuff in AI, but they're based on no data. So you could use those and they may not have any sales numbers. They may not have any visits. A lot of times it's general more general than specific too. So they're not really usable. You can use it to get ideas and then pop them into a keyword tool. That's fine. But don't just use them and run with them. It's not going to benefit you. It's going to be a time waster. I'd much rather just use Alora to get my title and tags and not even mess with AI for it, because you're just doing extra work. And we're here to save time. We're not here to do extra work and play around with AI and get in the weeds with it, which is the main thing that happens with these type of tools. The main downfall to AI or any tool out there is people get so into the weeds with this stuff and they don't use it to take actionable steps. They don't use it to get the information and then go apply the information, take action. They get in the weeds and then they end up spending hours, wasting hours, or they get upset about something, or they disagree with something, or they're worried about how it functions, and any number of things outside of taking action in their business. So keep that strategic focus. Otherwise, it's not going to benefit you. But that's it, guys. Those are the main things that you should use it for, and the things that you should not use it for that will benefit you the most. This is a great starting point if you are wanting to, or you already use AI, to make sure you stay on track and use it for actionable information that will absolutely make your life a lot easier. Again, make sure you get and watch the free workshop, how to generate your first $1,000 a month on Etsy in just 30 minutes a day with no social media if you don't want it. A lot of people don't like it or want to use it. You can grow without social media. I've done it. You can too. Make sure you get that at handmadeandbeyond.com/Etsy sales workshop. Hopefully that helps you out, and hopefully it doesn't scare you off. AI is a good thing if you're using it the right way, as long as it doesn't end up taking over the world. Who knows? But I'll be back soon with another great episode for you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day.